Hello and welcome. This is going to be a lesson on simplifying expressions using the calculator TI-84. So let's say I have this example here, negative 372 plus 298 minus 732 plus 437. So first thing I'm going to do is turn on my calculator. So please click the button on, and if the calculator is not clean, go ahead and press clear, and that should clear the screen. And anytime you have a negative in the beginning of an expression, you're always going to use this little negative here. Notice there is a minus right here and a minus here, or a little negative here. Okay, so always at the beginning you use this negative. So 372, and then we have plus 298 minus 732 plus 437. So please notice the first negative was the little one, but after that, any other negative is going to be the big one. Okay, the one on top right here. So when we press enter, we get 369. Very good. Let's go on to the next problem. The next problem is we have these numbers here. Plus notice that some of them are not like the other ones. This one has X. This one has X. So we call them like terms, okay? Because they both have X. So we, on an expression like this, we can only combine, meaning add or subtract, if they have the same letter. Or, like for example, this guy right here, 324, does not have a letter. And as you go through it, 78 does not have a letter, so both of them are like terms as well. And the last one is 47 is like term with 83. So that means I can only combine numbers that are like terms. So if I put in the calculator, okay, and when I put in the calculator, I am not going to put the letter, okay? So I'm just going to put 97, if you notice 97, minus 35. So minus 35. And I get 62. So then I'm going to write 62x. Okay. So basically 62x. And then I'm going to combine negative 324. Now please remember, negative 324 begins with a negative, so at the beginning of the expression you always use the little negative. 324 minus 78, and if you notice, the second negative was the big one, and you can even tell right there, see, this is big and this is small. Okay, so you press enter and we get negative 402. And then we need to do the y's, which is 47 plus 83. So we press enter and we get 130y. Now please notice that when there's a negative answer, the negative appears in the calculator. But when it's a positive, the positive does not show, is invisible. But when you write on the piece of paper, and if there's a number in front of the positive number, you must write the positive sign. It's like here, when we got 62, 62 is a positive number, but because it's at the beginning of the expression, we don't have to write the sign. But this one, because there's 402 in the front, then you have to write the sign. Okay? All right, let's go on to the next problem. Okay, the next one is multiplication. Okay, anytime you have a number outside of parentheses, that means you're going to distribute. Okay, that's called the distributive property. We're going to distribute to the number outside with the numbers that are inside, and that means we're going to multiply. Now, when you use your calculator and you multiply a negative number, you always going to use the negative. Doesn't matter where it is. When you multiply, you always and have a negative number, you always going to use this little negative. So this would be negative 14 times 4, and we get negative 56. So we write negative 56x, and then we're going to do it again. So negative 14 times negative 5. Notice that I'm using the little negative, and I get positive 7. So I write positive 7. So that's my answer there. Okay, and our last example will be this one right here. Again, we're going to multiply, so we do the little line that means multiplication. Okay, and we're going to use the calculator, so negative 27 times 34, and we get negative 918x, and then here negative 27 times negative 15, and we get positive 405. So that's my answer right there. So that right there is the examples of using the TI-84 to do these operations. So on the bottom of this paper, there are a few more problems that I would like you to stop the video and try using the calculator to see if you've learned how to put those numbers in the calculator. So stop the video, and when you're ready, return to the video and see how it goes. Okay, welcome back. So you had a chance to try these problems, so let's take a look. So the first problem, I'm going to write negative 581 minus 341 plus 196 minus 735 plus 438. Please remember the first negative is the little one and the second negative is the big one. And we get negative 1023. Now let's do the next one. Next one we do 37x. I'm going to combine with 47x. And also we have negative 95x. The negative 125, there's nobody that is like negative 125. There's no number that does not have a letter, only 125. But for the 35y, I can combine with negative 78. So first, I underline the ones that I can combine. So let's do now the operation on the calculator. We have 37 plus 47 minus 95, and we get negative, and don't forget to write the letter X. The negative 125 does not have a like term, so I'm just going to bring it down. And the next one is the y, so I have negative 35, so remember the little negative, and the second negative is going to be the big one, negative 78. And we press enter, and we get negative 113y. Very good. Next set of problems, we have parentheses. To eliminate parentheses, we're going to multiply the number that is outside with the number that are inside the parentheses. Now, to do that, remember, whenever you multiply, you're always going to use the little negative sign. So negative 97 times 3, we get negative 291x. And then we do negative 97 times negative 7, and we get 679. Please remember, if there's no sign on the calculator, that means the number is positive, and you need to write a positive if there's something in the front. All right, last problem. We're going to eliminate parentheses, so we draw this little line that means multiplication, and we're going to write negative 32 times 14, enter, and we get negative 448x. And then we're going to do negative 32 times 12, and we get negative 384. The next section of our lesson is going to be about simplifying expression. Our objective is to simplify algebraic expressions by using the distributive property in the process of combining like terms. So in other words, we're going to start with an expression that looks like this, like something big like this with parentheses and plus or minus. And we're going to use the distributive property in combining like terms. And what happened is we're going to make it look simpler. If you notice, we start with something big and we have something much simpler. That's why we call simplify an expression. We're going to make the expression look simpler. And to do that, we're going to take these two steps, okay? Basically, when we use the distributive property, we are going to eliminate the parentheses, and then we're going to combine like terms. So if you remember these two steps, you'll be fine. Okay, so let's go and see how we do these. Okay, so here we have these expressions, and our job is to simplify each expression below. So first step, eliminate parentheses. So I take the number that is just outside the parentheses and I multiply with the numbers that are inside the parentheses. Now this number 12 is not inside the parentheses, so I'm not going to multiply. So now that I'm ready to multiply, I can use my calculator. Okay, remember a negative number. So you press negative 5 times 4, and we get negative 20. Don't forget to write the x. And then we do negative 5 times negative 3. Don't forget the signs. And we get positive 15. Now the 12, we're just going to bring it down. So positive 12. Now that we have done the first step, we're going to do the second step, which is combine like terms. We're going to combine 15 and 12. So this would be negative 20x, 15 plus 12. You can use your calculator. 15 plus 12 equals 27. So now we have simplified the expression because there's nothing else that we can do, because 20x and 27 don't mix. They are not like terms. Okay, so that's my answer. So let's go on to the next problem. First step is eliminate parentheses. So we're going to take the number that is outside and multiply by each number inside. If you notice 7, we're just going to bring it down because it's not connected to a parenthesis. And then we're going to do the operation negative 5 times 3. And also the next one, negative 5 times negative 4. So negative 5 times 3, I get negative 15y. And then negative 5 times negative 4, I get positive 20. Now, next step is to combine like terms. Who can I combine with 7? I can combine with 20. So 7 plus 20 is 27. And we bring down the negative 15y. So that's my final answer. Now, some students might have said, oh, let me bring down the negative 15 first. And then they combine 7 plus 20 and they got positive 27. And if they write that as the answer, that is also correct. Okay, if you notice, the negative belongs to the 15 and 27 is positive. All right, next one, we have a parenthesis outside. So basically all we have to do is multiply. So let's do negative 3 times 2, enter. And then we have negative 3 times negative 1, enter. So negative 3 times 2 is negative 6x. Negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3. And that's all I can do in this particular problem because I cannot combine anything. All right, very good. Let's continue on to the next set of problems. Okay, please remember the two steps. Okay, First step is eliminate parentheses. Second step is combine like terms. Now on this particular one, there's no number right here that you can see, but know that whenever you have a sign next to an open parenthesis, know that there's an invisible one. So even though you cannot see it, there is a one there. Same thing if there are letters alone. If there's no number in front of the letter, you can always put a one, okay? So basically, we're going to bring down the 7y. Then we're going to multiply -1 times 1. And the next one is -1 times -4. So we get -1y plus 4. Now, who can we combine? We can combine -7 and -1. So 7 minus 1 is 6y, and we bring down the 4. And that's our final answer. All right, let's go on to the next one. We're going to eliminate parentheses, so we do the little line that means multiply. We're going to punch it in -2 times 4 on the calculator, and then -2 times -1. So we get -8x plus 2. Then I'm going to do the next one, 4 times 2, and then 4 times -1. So we get plus 8x minus 4. So now I have -8, +8, and I have +2 and -4. -8 plus 8 cancels because -8 plus 8, notice what happens. -8 plus 8 is 0. So we say they cancel. And then I have 2 minus 4. So 2 minus 4 is -2. So look at that one. We start with something like this, and we simplify to just a one plain number, -2. All right, next example. We're going to multiply the numbers that are outside. And please notice the 5 is not inside the parentheses, so we do not multiply with the -5. And please remember there's an invisible 1 right here. Okay, so that you can put there. And we're going to multiply 8 times 4 is 32m. 8 times -9, we get -72. Then we get -1 times 24. We get -24. And then we have -1 times 34. And we get -34m. And the -5m, we're going to bring it down because it's not attached to a parenthesis. Now that we have that, we're going to combine the like terms. So these are like terms because they all have the letter M. And these ones are like terms because they don't have a letter. So now we punch it in the calculator, 32 minus 34 minus 5. And we get -7. But please don't forget the letter M. Good. Now let's do -72 minus 24, and we get -96. And there we go. Here we have the next page, and we're going to continue on with 4 more examples. So let's take a look. Please remember the 2 steps: eliminate parents, combine like terms. Right here, first thing I see is I have parentheses, so I'm going to eliminate. Please remember there's an invisible 1. So that means you're going to bring down the 5x, and then you multiply -1 times 2, and you get -2x. Then you do -1 times 4, and then you get -4. And then you bring down these two values because they're not attached to a parenthesis. Now we're going to combine like terms. 5x minus 2x, -7x. And this one, we're going to combine. So 5 minus 2 minus 7. Press enter. We get -4x. And then we have -4 plus 5. So -4 plus 5. And we get +1. So that's our answer for this problem. All right, the next set of problems, we see a fraction. We also see parentheses. Just follow the rules. First step, eliminate parentheses. So draw the lines, meaning multiplication. So now, how do we do 1/2 in the calculator? Well, you do 1 divided by 2. So if you notice right there, there's the 1/2. And then you multiply by the first number, which is 6. So 1/2 times 6 is 3x. Then we're going to do it again. So 1 divided by 2 times -4, and we get -2. Next one is -3 times 8, and we get -24x. Then we have -3 times -1, and we get +3. So if you notice, first step is to multiply. Once you multiply, we're going to combine like terms. And so the -2 combines with the 3, and then 3x combines with -24. So now let's use the calculator. 3 minus 24. Remember, if the negative is in the middle, use the big one. So we get -21x. And then we're going to do -2 plus 3, and we get +1. Very good. So that's my answer for this problem. All right, let's go on to the next set of problems. Next one, we have fractions again. So we're going to eliminate parentheses by multiplying the fraction that is outside with each number that is inside the parentheses. Remember, to do fractions on the calculator, you write 1 divided by 3 times 12. Press enter, and we get 4x. Then we do again 1 divided by 3 times -15, and we get -5. Then I have -2 divided by 5 times 10. Enter, and we get -4. And then I have -2 divided by 5 times -5, and we get +2x. So we're going to combine terms. So notice that 4x goes with 2x, and -5 goes with 4. So 4 plus 2 is 6x. -5 minus 4 is -9. This problem, we have decimals. Again, same strategy. Eliminate parentheses first. Okay, and then we go here to the calculator and we multiply 0.2 times 10 and we get 2x. Then we have 0.2 times negative 15 and we get negative 3. Then we're going to multiply negative 5 times 1.4 and we get negative 7x. And the last one is negative 5 times negative 2.8 and we get positive 14x. When I combine like terms, oops, made a mistake. Negative 5 times 2.8 does not have an x, so let's erase that. Okay, going to combine 2x with negative 7, combine 3 with 14. So now we punch it in the calculator. 2 minus 7 is negative 5, and then we have negative 3 plus 14, and we get positive 11. So it'll be negative 5x, positive 11. Very good. And there we go. So this concludes the lesson for today. Today we learned how to use the TI-84 calculator in order to simplify expressions by using two important steps. If you follow the two steps and use the calculator, you should be fine. Remember the two steps. First step, eliminate parentheses. Second step, combine like terms. All right. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you very much for your time and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.